Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Nothing to See Here podcast. This is day 3 of our first week of daily uploads. I'm Frankie.
I'm Hannah.
I'm pissed.
Amanda is angry. You hear that laughter? That is maybe sometimes special guest Monique, who on our first go through of recording made a funny joke that angered Amanda. To the point where Amanda, for the first time, we're not recording all in separate locations. I'm recording with Amanda tonight, and Amanda is shaking in anger.
I wish I was there to see this.
It's very funny. It's day 3, guys. How do we feel?
I have been so excited for your episode since we recorded last week.
I'm very excited. Can I tell you, I did all this research at work.
I love that for you.
And I was writing everything out. I hand wrote all of my notes, and I was going to type them all up. I left all of my handwritten notes at work on Friday.
No.
Friday night, I had to find all of the websites that I used and just retype them very quickly.
Oh, you poor man.
It sucked a lot. Yeah, so I left all of my notes, but I did find everything. I remember the websites that I used and the articles that I used to research. So I have everything I think that I wanted to talk about with Stede Bonnet.
Good.
Stede Bonnet sounds like a rock star name. Like he would be like somebody like a guitarist in like a band like The Cure or like Matchbox 20.
Stede Bonnet's a good name, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not a good pirate name.
Yeah, it's definitely, it doesn't strike like,
it's unassuming.
Yeah. His nickname, the Gentleman Pirate.
Did he wear a bonnet?
No, we'll get to why he was called the Gentleman Pirate.
Well, his last name's Bonnet.
Yeah, he didn't wear a bonnet.
That is disappointing.
Yeah. So some of our listeners, and maybe you guys, I don't know, may know Stede Bonnet as he has become recently very popular in media. Our Flag Means Death is a show about him. It's the gay pirate show on HBO.
He's gay?
On the show, yes, and as we'll find out later, maybe possibly in real life. The show.
So he did wear a bonnet.
The show is about Stede Bonnet and his gay relationship with the famous pirate Blackbeard, who will have a large part in our story today.
Oh man, that's dope.
I'm so excited.
He was like Blackbeard's wife, his like mistress.
But maybe.
What is a master? Mistress?
I think Blackbeard could be a mistress.
What? No, because Blackbeard's bigger.
It'd be master.
Is the opposite of mistress master?
Yes. You know, I know that? Doctor Who. Doctor Who has an enemy called the Master, and the Master is a Time Lord just like Doctor Who, and he gets reincarnated and becomes the mistress at one point. And they don't call her that, though. They just call her Missy, which is very upsetting. They should have just called her the mistress.
Yeah, that's kind of dope.
But we'll find out about his relationship with Blackbeard. There's been no historical confirmation that they did have a gay relationship, but some historians believe that they did.
I mean, how would you confirm?
Historians would say.
How would you confirm
they were
that
good friends?
Yeah. How would you confirm a gay relationship back in that time?
You
like
can't.
Obviously
they were roommates.
Like
yeah, they were roommates. well, they were shipmates at one point. So
were they bunkmates?
I'm pretty sure he did stay in maybe either in or near the captain's quarters. We'll talk about that when we get to his journey with Blackbeard.
What time period is this?
I'm glad you asked, because before we get into Stede Bonnet, we're going to talk about the historical time period that we're in. We're going to set the scene.
Okay.
So we are looking at the 1600s, the late 1600s to the 1720s, which is a golden age of pirates. Specifically,
One Piece.
Yeah, Stede Bonnet is 1688 to 1718 is his lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't live a particularly long life.
How many years is that?
88, 98.
He's like 40-something max.
30 years.
Okay.
30. Okay. I majored in English, not math, so
That's why I
Very
didn't even try.
So why is this called the Golden Age of Pirates? It had the most pirates around, obviously. But
One Piece.
Britain, in their journey to become an actual empire, used a lot of piracy from the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, famously with Sir Francis Drake, through most of the 17th century. Because as the other Western powers began to take to the seas and expand their possessions, increase their trade, and battle each other, Britain had a lot to gain from expanding its presence at sea. And while the English Navy was not as strong and could not accomplish the objectives of the government, the British government would authorize private ships to act on their behalf.
Mhm.
It would actively encourage British vessels to seize foreign ships and their goods as an act of patriotism. And the law distinguished this by calling them either pirates or privateers. But pirates could be named privateers after the fact. So they could go out as pirates, and if they did something the British government approved of, they would go, you're just a privateer. So at the end of the 17th century,
I didn't rob this bank. I'm a privateer for America.
So by the end of the 17th century, the British imperial power began to move away from piracy. By that time, Spain had already overextended itself and had started to decline in their power, and France just could not compete with the British Navy. And Britain began to expand their colonies in North America and South Asia, and began to have an increasing stake in the slave trade, meaning that they're growing.
Boo.
So, yes, boo the slave trade, and celebrate pirates. But this meant that Britain's growing empire sought to protect its foothold at sea, and you can't do that when you have a bunch of ships going around robbing other ships on the ocean.
Are you sure?
Well,
Can't you try? Just let them live.
The British didn't think so. And this is really a thing you'll see a lot in governments, even to this day, where they prop up these people who are ostensibly committing crimes to empower them. And then once they gain that power, they turn on the people that they propped up. But the acts of piracy that were previously encouraged represented a threat to British imperial might, and the British government began to crack down hard. So pirates in the late 17th and early 18th centuries began to identify as a subversive class at the margins of society. Class and politics didn't really matter to them, and their criminal empire largely was in response to the imperial oppression that they now faced. Most of these pirates in this era were lower class, rebelling against the terrible abuse inherent in the British Navy. As a general rule, pirates, unlike the Navy, did not conscript men into their service on principle. Instead, sailors became pirates when they mutinied and collectively assumed control of their vessel or voluntarily joined crews that invaded their ships. Pirates are seen as one of the first truly democratic institutions in the West at this time.
Yeah, didn't they like elect their own like captains and stuff?
They did. So ship articles at the time were drafted in common by the crew, ensuring that they could vote officers of the ship in and out. They had a radically equalized pay system across the board, where the captain, because they were taking the risk of being the captain, would take a bit of a larger share, but almost every other pirate on board, with the exception of the cook and the medics, would take essentially the same pay of a share of what they stole. And they also balanced the captain's power with the will of the majority and included provisions compensating those who were injured in the line of duty. Pirate crews were also incredibly diverse, including a lot of women and political dissidents, and were sites of homosexual freedom.
They said equality.
They did. Pirates really did not care. As long as you were able to sail and contribute to the ship and robbing other ships, you were welcome.
Yeah, but pirates also ate a lot of turtles.
They did. They ate what they could get their hands on.
Galapagos turtles are now endangered because of pirates.
Well, move faster than turtles.
I would say Darwin, but also pirates.
Turtles should have walked a little faster.
Leave the turtles alone.
So, in addition to destabilizing imperial social and political mores. It was the piracy's threat to the slave trade that made them particular enemies to the British Empire.
Did they not like slaves?
Pirates?
Yeah.
No, but slave ships were easy to rob. And not only did they have supplies on slave trips, they also had people who would very willingly join them and be part of the crew, because it was either you're going to become a slave or you can become a pirate. And this is shown, though, the impact that pirates had on the slave trade is shown in the numbers. The early 1700s marked a boom in Britain's slave trading interest. And when African slave trade was finally deregulated in 1712, British imperial agents and private merchants alike became all the more invested in the booming enterprise. But a single pirate crew was capable of taking several hundred ships within only a few years at a time. And as I said before, the numbers reflect this. During the highest activity of pirates, 1720 to 1722, you also see the lowest numbers of slaves exchanged in the trade. And after the intervention by the British imperial state quashed almost the entirety of the pirate threat, the numbers of slaves traded skyrocketed, almost doubling between 1720 and 1725. So, specifically looking at the American coast, because that is where Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet, our hero of the day, will take most of their ships from, many of the men who turned to piracy on the American coast were escaped slaves, indentured servants, or colonists who failed to make a living on the land. During this period, ordinary people were upset about the growing gap between the rich and the poor and growing authoritarian power of the British Empire. And while piracy was considered a hanging offense, it was an attractive option for men in desperate circumstances with some knowledge of seafaring and a deep loathing for authority. So that's our historical context. And now we come to our hero, the man who's known as the gentleman pirate, or some call him the most incompetent pirate in history.
Oh, why?
Stede Bonnet. Stede Bonnet was born in 1688 and christened at Christchurch Parish on July 29th. His parents, Edward and Sarah Bonnet, owned an estate of 400 acres southeast of Bridgetown. This is in the Barbados, by the way, in Barbados.
I was about to ask where we were exactly.
Yes. Stede Bonnet inherited this 400-acre estate in 1694 at the age of 6 when his father died.
He was a rich baby.
Yes, he was.
Oh, he was a Nepo baby.
Yeah. It's not known where Bonnet received his education, but we do know from the trial transcript from when he was captured and put on trial for piracy that he received a liberal education, and many who knew him before his excursion into piracy described him as bookish. Bonnet married another wealthy person in Barbados, Mary Allambie, on November 21st, 1709. And they had 3 sons, Allambie, who died in 1715,
Oh, that's bad.
Edward and Stede Jr., and 1 daughter named Mary. The 3 younger children who all survived, at least for the duration of our story, were all younger than 5 when Stede decided to abandon his family and become a pirate.
Now,
I was rooting for him and now I'm against him.
yeah, so how about we don't abandon kids?
Yes, let's not abandon our children before the age of 5 to become a pirate. Now, as I said earlier, most pirates from his area were those who were poor or freed slaves or escaped slaves.
He's neither.
He's none of those things.
Yeah.
So why
He's just a rich man who's bored.
Well, why did he become a pirate? We don't really know why. There are some theories. First of all, though, Stede Bonnet, when he decided to become a pirate, had no knowledge of seafaring. He didn't know how to sail a ship. He had only ever been a passenger.
I feel like if you live on an island, you probably should have some nautical knowledge.
And moreover, he had no reason to rage against the government. He was a justice of the peace in Barbados. He was a member of the Barbados militia, and he was given the title of major in that militia. So a contemporary account of Bonnet's piracy career suggests that he had discomforts that he found in the married state. He didn't like that his wife was nagging him, so he became a pirate.
Or he was gay. I feel like we could go that way too.
Other historians think that he suffered a mental break and decided to become a pirate. Some suggest that it was evidence for the mental break includes that one of his children had died, and
Fair.
it led to an emotional gap between him and his wife.
I'm sure that happens when kids die.
Yeah, I feel like that one's fair, but
that one's definitely fair.
There's some belief that he was facing economic issues. Around 1717, when he does become a pirate, he had borrowed around £1,700 from a bank, or not a bank, from some people, from the government presumably, which is about $400,000 today.
I mean, that's a lot of money, but I thought it was going to be more in today's amount.
Yeah. He was also, historians believe, a Jacobite, which means he supported James Stuart as the King of England over the German-born George I, who is the dynasty that we know with, who would become who we rebelled against in the American Revolution.
A Jacobite.
Yes, that's what they were called.
That's so much fun to say.
And a lot of pirates at the time thought of themselves as revolting against King George, whether that was just an animosity towards any authority or they were loyal to James Stewart.
I'm sorry. I thought you were just going to end with a lot of pirates thought they were revolting. And I was like, oh, the poor pirates. They felt bad for themselves. Low self-esteem.
And finally, there is the belief by some historians that Stede Bonnet may have been gay or bisexual. And his sexuality would have been more welcomed on board a pirate ship.
Also fair.
But whatever the reasons, during the spring of 1717, Stede Bonnet decided to become a pirate, despite having no knowledge of living on a ship.
And having, kids.
And a wife.
Screw the wife.
And just abandoning them.
The wife isn't that important here, right? I don't mind if you leave your wife, but if you're leaving your kids.
Yeah. So he put together legal papers to put his wife and two of his friends in charge of all of his affairs in Barbados. He then contracted a local shipyard to build him a 60-ton sloop equipped with 10 guns and named it the Revenge.
I mean, at least he planned ahead.
And he's going to Tortuga.
Well, not at first, but this was an unusual move. Most pirates seize their ships by mutiny or by boarding them or by converting a privateer ship into a pirate ship. But Bonnet purchased his ship. He enlisted a crew of about 70 men. He relied specifically on his quartermaster and officer for their knowledge of sailing, which meant he was not highly respected by his crew because he had no idea what he was doing. But he did.
He really sounds like a bored rich man.
He does. And he paid them wages instead of shares of the plunder.
Was this like a midlife crisis?
Yes. That's what a lot of historians put it down to. He had a midlife crisis. They call it the pirate who had a midlife crisis.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a midlife crisis. Except instead of wanting to buy a Ferrari or a Tesla, I'm gonna leave my wife and kids and go be a pirate.
But after he did all of this, in the middle of the night, he departed from Carlisle Bay, Barbados, and sailed towards the coast of Virginia.
Tortuga.
He went to Virginia and went to the Chesapeake Bay, where he captured and plundered 4 vessels and burned a Barbadian ship to keep news of his crimes from reaching his home. And that's something you'll see throughout most of his career. To keep the people of Barbados from learning he had become a pirate, he would burn any ship that was headed towards Barbados or from there.
Cool beans.
Why didn't he just change his name, though? Why didn't he get a pirate name?
Well, Hannah.
There probably weren't a lot of people back then. Maybe he was like, you know, it's not a small world after all. People could like recognize my face. Maybe he had like a really obscure birthmark or something.
Hannah, you're thinking ahead. Stede Bonnet clearly does not think ahead.
I mean, he thought ahead to at least put his wife in charge of things.
That's true.
But
He didn't think to learn how to sail.
or that. Did not think to change name or learn to sail.
No, he just thought he was an expert, kind of like all men who go through midlife crises.
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
Like,
Facts. Straight facts.
You watch one World War I documentary and you know everything about World War I.
He is a white man.
Yeah.
Mm.
He then sailed north to New York City, taking 2 more ships along the way, picking up supplies and releasing captives at Gardiner's Island. By August of 1717, he sailed back down to the Carolinas, where he had attacked 2 more ships. He attacked a brigantine and stripped it, but he took one of the Barbadian ships that he attacked, used it to repair the Revenge, and then dismantled the ship for timber and burned the remains.
Resourceful, at least.
Yes. In September of 1717, they then set course for Nassau, which was the home of the infamous pirate den in the Bahamas.
Tortuga, right?
It's not Tortuga, but yes, that's what Tortuga is based on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep calling it Tortuga.
En route to Nassau,
Tortuga.
the Revenge encountered a Spanish man of war. Bonnet decided to fight it. They were not successful. The Revenge was badly damaged. Half of his crew was killed or wounded, and Bonnet himself was seriously wounded. They had to dock at Nassau. Bonnet replaced all his casualties, refitted the Revenge, added 2 more guns to the ship, and had
Only 2.
only 2. So now they're up to 12 guns, and had to begin his recovery. It was while at Nassau, Bonnet met Captain Benjamin Hornigold and Edward Teach.
I know
the
Teach.
First time. And who is Edward Teach?
Blackbeard. I watch One Piece.
Yes, Edward Teach is Blackbeard. So, disabled by his wounds, Bonnet temporarily ceded command of the Revenge to Blackbeard, but remained aboard as a guest of the more experienced pirate captain, hoping to learn something from Blackbeard. Blackbeard and Bonnet weighed anchor and sailed northward to Delaware Bay, where they, on the way, plundered 11 ships. But Bonnet, not doing his best at this point in time, one of the captains of one of the ships they robbed described Bonnet as walking the deck in his nightshirt, lacking any command, and still unwell from his wounds.
Oh, this poor man.
Nah, he did this to himself.
I mean, he did.
Nah, I'm
He
not.
did.
I don't feel any bad for him. I really hope he had some pants on.
I don't listen.
He had pants on.
Listen, I don't have sympathy for
Not
him,
just
Amanda.
walking out with his shaft hanging out.
He might have been.
Well,
in
you
the
said it was a nightshirt, so it would have been longer.
In the middle of an attack, by the way.
That doesn't mean okay. Still, if you don't wear underwear with like nightshirts, right? You're still gonna see something, right? Guys wear sweatpants, and you can see stuff through that. And sweatpants are way thicker than nightshirts. You're gonna see something.
This is all in the context of them capturing a ship, by the way. He's just wandering the deck in his nightshirt.
Just imagine a bunch of people fighting, and this guy just like in a daze walks by, and they're like, the enemy's like, who's that?
He has no pants on.
Yeah, they're like, that's Stede. Just he's
like holding onto his side too.
Yeah.
He's recovering from his wound.
They're like, don't worry about him.
That's our mascot. Just leave him be.
Let's just get back to it. Let's leave him alone. And like even the enemy's like, yeah, that guy doesn't look okay. I'm not gonna go near that.
So Blackbeard and Bonnet left Delaware Bay and sailed back to the Caribbean in November. And on November 17th, they encountered a 200-ton ship named the Concord. They attacked the Concord with 2 of their craft, including the Revenge. And Blackbeard They were successful in their attack, and Blackbeard took the Concorde,
Mhm.
sailed it south into the Grenadines, and renamed it the Queen Anne's Revenge, which is Blackbeard's famous ship
Mhm.
that he will have until his infamous blockade of the Carolinas, where it gets too damaged for him to continue sailing it.
Mhm.
But Stede Bonnet was there when Blackbeard took his famous ship.
You know, that's like one of the things he says to people when they first meet him. He's like, I was there when Blackbird got the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Yeah, he's like the conspiracy theorist that was like, you'd be like talking in like a coffee shop or something, right? And you're like, hey, did you hear about like the alien abduction? And there's just this weird guy in the corner going, I was there, man. I was there.
He saw it all.
After December 19th, Bonnet and Blackbeard separate,
Aw,
and Bonnet regains control of his ship.
it was a bad breakup.
Bonnet sails to the Western Caribbean during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And in March of 1718, he encounters the 400-ton merchant vessel, the Protestant Caesar, off the coast of Honduras.
I don't think Caesar was Protestant.
He was not.
That's just not a good name for a ship.
That's not good. I don't.
No. Burn immediately.
Well, Bonnet attempted to do so. He attacked it.
Good.
He failed.
Not good.
The ship escaped, and his crew became restless and upset with him for failing.
Now, when he and Blackbeard broke up,
Yes.
did any of the crew go with Bonnet, or did they just all go with Blackbeard and this
His
new
crew
and this
went
is
with
now a
him.
new crew?
Well, this is Bonnet's original crew.
Why
But-
did they stay with him this long?
Well, he was successful until this.
Was
He was.
he?
He captured.
I guess technically yes, but
But Hannah, you're right. Why would they stay with him? He's failed.
So they all leave.
Well, Bonnet encounters Blackbeard shortly after this failure, and Bonnet's crew deserts him to join Blackbeard.
okay, there we go.
Is
There
this
we
where
go.
they leave him on an island with just a pistol?
No, Blackbeard instead puts one of his officers in charge of the Revenge,
Mm-hmm.
and Bonnet finds himself a guest, with air quotes around that word, aboard the Queen Anne's Revenge.
So it's just him and this officer now.
Well, the Queen Anne's Revenge is Blackbeard's ship.
Mm-hmm.
The Revenge is Bonnet's ship.
Yeah, the ship that Bonnet's on. It's just one person with him now?
It's him and Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Blackbeard's crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bonnet's crew, which has deserted him to join Blackbeard, are all on the Revenge under the command of
Okay.
Blackbeard.
Okay, I'm thinking he's been left alone to his own devices.
No.
he's
On
kind
this
of like a
ship.
prisoner.
I missed a sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you missed. Yeah.
I missed a sentence.
Basically, Blackbeard has a fleet right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got that.
So
I just really thought it was Bonnet and one other dude on a boat alone together.
No.
That you can't drive a boat like that.
No, you can't. But Bonnet has lost command of his
Listen, in my mind, we could.
ship. Hannah could do it.
No, absolutely not.
Listen, I am a woman. I can do anything.
I'm all for I'm all for women, girl power, whatever. Nobody can fucking do that.
No, I'm gonna girl boss my way through it.
No, you're gonna die.
Well, then she's died at sea, living a wonderful life.
It's not gonna be a wonderful life.
I was a hermit
Give
at
it 2
sea,
days and
girl
scratches will
bossing
disappear.
my way across the ocean. Leave me be.
The bards will tell wonderful tales.
What bards?
Bonnet at this time is said to have confided in a few of his loyal crew members that he was ready to give up the life of piracy if he could exile himself in Spain or Portugal. But this never ends up happening. Bonnet is with Blackbeard, like I said, for his infamous blockade of Charlestown in the late spring of 1718.
Mm-hmm.
After this blockade, they need a place to rest and refit their vessels. So Blackbeard and Bonnet head north to Topsail Island, where the Queen Anne's Revenge ran aground and was lost.
Oh no.
R.I.P.
So this leaves Blackbeard with his 2 other vessels and the Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnet and Blackbeard leave those ships at Topsail Island, and they journey to Bath, the capital of North Carolina at the time. When they go to Bath, both men accept pardons from the governor, Charles Eden, on the condition that they renounce piracy forever. So they are free and clear. They're no longer wanted criminals.
Mm-hmm.
That was really easy.
It is. It was really easy. This was an effort at the time by King George. It was called King George's Act of Grace.
Why do I feel like the other shoe is going to drop?
Well, it really was an act of grace. Any pirate that the government deemed worthy, there were some, like William Kidd, who were unable to take advantage of this because they had pissed off too many people in high positions. But any other one who the government who hadn't pissed the government off too much were able to get a pardon as long as they stayed away from piracy for the rest of their lives. They could live the rest of their lives as long as they stopped what they were doing, and they'd be fine.
But
Bonnet stayed in Bath, and Blackbeard returned to Topsail Island. Bonnet stayed in Bath to get a clearance.
Oh, he didn't stay in Bath to get a bath?
No, he didn't stay to get a bath. He probably needed one. Let's be fair.
Are we peanut gallery?
So Bonnet stayed in Bath to get a clearance. So Britain at this time was involved in another war with Spain. And they were giving out letters of marque. The letters of marque would allow people to become privateers. Bonnet wanted a clearance to take the Revenge to Denmark's Caribbean colony of St. Thomas, so he could purchase a letter of marque and become a privateer against Spanish shipping. That way, he could essentially continue being a pirate, but he would be backed by the British government.
Mm-hmm. Did that not happen?
He never got the opportunity.
Because he died.
No. He was granted the clearance to go to St. Thomas, but Bonnet returned to Topsail Island to find that Blackbeard had betrayed him once again.
Why?
Blackbeard had beached the majority of the former crew, robbed the Revenge of almost all of its supplies, and sailed away for parts unknown. So Bonnet takes the Revenge. He's able to get some of his original crew back, but he does reinforce it by rescuing all of the men that Blackbeard had marooned on Topsail Island.
Mm-hmm.
And he's told that is docked in Ocracoke Inlet. And Bonnet set sail to hunt down Blackbeard.
This isn't going to end well, is it?
It doesn't. Well, he never finds him. And they never encounter each other again. Okay. That's the end of the Bonnet Blackbeard romance. Ended with betrayal.
That's so sad.
Kind of shitty romance.
And
it's a really depressing ending.
Yeah, like very shitty romance. Not a love story of the century here. I was expecting something really, really profound.
I think Romeo and Juliet is better.
I wouldn't go that far.
What about Antony and Cleopatra? Is that better?
I'll leave.
I'll
leave.
Welcome to the two-person episode of Nothing to See Here with Hannah and Frankie.
I'll leave. I have a vacation coming up. I will leave.
So Bonnet's next step is to go to St. Thomas to get his letter of marque.
Mm-hmm.
2 problems with that.
He can't.
Well,
peanut gallery, please.
Blackbeard stole the food and supplies that he needed to survive to make the trip.
Mm-hmm. Did he still attempt the trip without food?
No, he did not. There was another problem.
He does have a brain cell.
There was another problem. St. Thomas was in the middle of the Atlantic hurricane season, which would last until August or until autumn. And this is end of June, beginning of July. Mm-hmm. So he can't really sail down there. And he knows that. But he can't return to being a pirate because if he does, it nullifies his pardon and he becomes hunted by the government once again. So what does he do? What would you do? You're in his situation. What are you doing?
sipping mimosas on the beach with all the money I have.
I wouldn't be in his situation because I'm not stupid.
Well, Hannah, you're wrong.
Dang it.
What you do in this situation, what Bonnet does in this situation at least, is he renames the ship the Royal James, and he names himself Captain Thomas and becomes a pirate once again.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
Oh, he finally changed his name.
He changed his name after
Depressed.
everyone knew what him and his ship looked like.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna start crying.
So he tries to disguise that he's not a pirate by pretending to trade with the next two ships that he robbed. So he goes up to them, pretends he's a merchant vessel, trading with them, and once he gets on deck,
Robs
he
them.
then robs them. He didn't man though. He quits it after those two ships and just starts robbing people without any tricks at all. He robs people, by the way, in the traditional pirate manner. Usually it is not in a way of that we think of where they go up to the ship, board it, there's this huge sea fight between them, everyone's swinging on ropes. What pirates usually did was they would sail either under they would have multiple flags on their ship, ready to dispatch at a moment's notice. They would fly up a ship that is friendly to the ship that they are about to encounter. And if that ship would come near them, they would then fire a cannon shot at them, raise up the Jolly Roger, whatever their design was, and hope that the ship captain that they were robbing would become so scared that they'd just surrender. And a lot of ships did. They didn't want to die. Unless they worked for, like, the East India Company.
And then they were like, if I don't try and fight back, I will die regardless.
Basically, yeah. Or they were the people who were higher ups in the company were like, you're not fucking coming near me. I'll kill you instead, actually.
It was mainly the first one though.
Yeah, that's what got William Kidd in trouble a lot. He robbed the companies a lot.
You mean Captain Kidd?
Yes, Captain Kidd.
With 2 D's.
Yeah, that is how he spelled his name.
He was not a child either.
He wasn't a child. He was a full-grown man. I'm glad you know your history. So in July of 1718, he cruises to Delaware Bay once again, pillages another 11 ships, and takes some prisoners, some of whom join his crew. He set loose most of the ships after looting them, but he retained control of the last 2 ships that he captured. So now he's got a fleet of 3 ships. On August 1st, 1718, the Royal James and the other 2 ships sail southward from Delaware Bay. And the other 2 ships are lagging behind, so Bonnet threatens to sink both of them if they don't speed up. He's getting angry.
Yeah, sounds like it.
He also abandons paying wages to his crew, and he goes to the traditional pirate custom of distributing shares.
Was the crew for or against that?
I think they were for it, but I'm not sure. I don't know what wages he was paying them. Whether the wages were more or less than what they would get from robbing a ship. 12 days out from sailing away from Delaware Bay, Bonnet enters Cape Fear River and anchors there. And this place is now known as Bonnet's Creek for what is about to occur.
Dang, he didn't even get a river. He got a creek.
Custard's last stand.
The Royal James has begun to leak badly, and it's desperately in need of repair. Shortly after, a smaller ship enters the river. Bonnet captures it and has the ship repaired using that captured ship. But he remains in Cape Fear River for the next 45 days, intending to wait out the hurricane season and then sail to St. Thomas to get his letter of marque.
Bad idea.
You're right. By the end of August, news had reached Charlestown that Bonnet's vessels, which are now known once again as pirate ships, are moored in the Cape Fear River. And Robert Johnson, the governor of South Carolina, has authorized Colonel William Rhett to lead an expedition against the pirates.
Rhett, like Rhett and Link?
Yeah, it's spelled the same way. Rhett arrives at Cape Fear River on September 26th with 2 8-gun sloops, the Henry and the Sea Nymph.
Sloop John B.
He also has 130 men with him.
My grandfather and me.
I'm gonna hit you. So Bonnet initially thinks that these two ships are merchants, and he sends 3 canoes to capture them.
A canoe.
A canoe.
A
Hey,
canoe.
Hannah, 3 canoes. Come on
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry. Let me put some respect on that. 3 canoes.
Yeah, come on. He's not just sending out a single canoe. It's 3 canoes.
You're right. I'm sorry. That's what? 9 people?
At most 9 people. Probably 6.
Captured 2 ships.
Rhett's flagship, the Henry, had run aground. So Bonnet's canoes were actually able to approach, recognize that these ships are not merchants but military, and return to warn Bonnet. And by the time the rising tide had actually lifted the Henry off of the river bottom so it could sail once again, the sun had set. So the militia could do nothing to stop them from warning Bonnet. Now Bonnet, or Colonel Rhett, has 130 men. Bonnet has 46, and they're scattered among 3 ships, so he's not got a lot of concentration there. So Bonnet, in the middle of the night, has all of his people come aboard the Royal James, and his plan is to fight his way out in the morning, rather than risk the narrow channels in the dark and ruin his ship completely. He also had another idea. Instead of just fighting his way out, he wrote a letter to Governor Johnson threatening.
And this letter was supposed to get to the governor by morning?
I guess so.
Like,
they're not
in the capital, correct?
They're not at the. That is the capital. They're
Oh,
not.
okay.
They're not even in the same state. They're in North Carolina. He's sending the letter to the governor of South Carolina,
This man has 1 brain cell.
and he used it to buy a ship. Daybreak of September 27th, 1718. Bonnet sails towards Colonel Rhett's forces. And his ship and the 2 military ships just start opening fire. The 2 military ships split up in an effort to bracket the Royal James. Bonnet tries to avoid this by steering close to the river's western shore. He ran aground in the process.
Jesus fucking Christ.
However, Rhett's ships, the military ships, also ran aground.
Why are these guys feel as incompetent as our politicians right now in government?
So the battle lasted 6 hours because none of the ships could move.
Why did no one just run? Take
Then
the
you get
canoes
shot.
and run.
Well, Bonnet had an advantage. The way his ship was tilted, his deck, which would take most of the damage.
Deck, spelled D-E-C-K.
Yes, his deck was tilted away from the military, giving them cover. Meanwhile, the Henry's deck was tilted towards the pirates, exposing all of the men on board to musket fire. So during this little stalemate where they're just firing on each other, Bonnet's forces suffered 12 casualties, and the military suffered 10 casualties and 14 wounded. However,
I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for you to say the army got decimated.
well, no, the army does win this battle through sheer dumb luck. The rising tide came in and lifted both military ships, but left the Royal James stranded.
Dope.
So Bonnet is sitting there helplessly, watching the enemy vessels come closer to boarding his ship because he can't move.
Oh god.
Bonnet is outnumbered 3-1, so he orders his gunner to blow up the Royal James with him and all of his men aboard.
I mean, 1 for all and all for one, but I don't think that pertains to death.
It does not, apparently, because his men overruled him and
Oh,
surrendered.
good. Oh, good. Good.
So Bonnet was arrested, and they were returned to Charlestown on October 3rd, 1718.
Mm-hmm.
So in Charlestown, Bonnet is separated from the majority of his crew and held for 3 weeks with his boatswain and sailing master at the home of the town marshal. On October 24th, Bonnet and his sailing master escaped by colluding with a local merchant. The governor, Governor Johnson, places a 700-pound bounty on Bonnet's head.
That is a hefty bounty.
It is a huge bounty. So Bonnet and his sailing master, accompanied by a slave and a Native American, got a boat and sailed for the north shore of Charlestown Harbor. But foul winds and a lack of supplies forced them onto Sullivan's Island. Governor Johnson sent Colonel Rhett back out to hunt for Bonnet.
Christ.
And they find him on Sullivan's Island.
And they kill him.
And they open fire. They kill the sailing master and wound the slave and the Native American.
But Bonnet's fine?
But Bonnet was fine. He surrendered, but Bonnet got out scot-free from that little exchange.
God damn it.
I am shaking.
I'm so mad. This episode has me so mad. Not just for this story, but also at numerous other things.
On November 10th, 1718, Bonnet is brought to trial before Sir Nicholas Trott as the Vice Admiralty judge.
Thought?
Trott.
I heard thought. Hannah, did you hear thought?
I heard trot, so I just assumed he was a centaur.
He is, yeah. Imagine that.
Oh, good.
Trott had already sat in judgment on Bonnet's crew and sentenced all but 3, I think, to hanging. Bonnet was only charged with 2 acts of piracy.
That's it?
Yes. Well,
away!
He was a shitty pirate, but he was only charged with 2 because they only had 2 captains of ships that he robbed there to testify against him. Piracy at the time was defined as a robbery committed upon the sea, and a pirate is a sea thief. Simple crime definition.
Yeah.
Bonnet also had one of his crew members testify against him. His boatswain, Ignatius Pell, testified against Stede Bonnet. So Bonnet pleaded not guilty and conducted his own defense because you did not have the right to. Well, you didn't have the right to an attorney back then.
Nope.
That's okay. I forgot that.
Hannah just assumed that was just an automatic thing.
No, I didn't assume that was an automatic thing. I just hear someone is being their own lawyer, and I prep for the worst.
You think stupid person.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at his trial, Bonnet said he had very little authority over his crew because they didn't respect him. This is his defense.
I couldn't do this because my crew didn't fucking like me.
Yeah, basically.
I stand by my statement of stupid person is their own lawyer.
He told the court that his crew, and this is what a lot of pirates said, by the way, that his crew engaged in piracy against his will, and that any acts that he did, he was forced to by his crew and by Blackbeard.
This man, right, already had no respect for this man. Right? If you're caught, own up to your shit. Bullshit, man. Bullshit. Fuck this guy. Why does he have a TV series after him? Why?
I don't know. He also, in his defense, said that for one of the ships that he was charged with robbing, he was asleep during that entire thing. He couldn't have done anything.
Your Honor, you see, I sleep like a rock on the nice ocean. I didn't hear my crew engaging in piracy. It did not wake me up, but engage in piracy they did.
I'm so mad.
He's the old I was sleeping defense. Come on.
No.
It's a good defense.
No, it's not.
It's a good defense. I was tired, Your Honor, and I could not physically get up. and do anything. I slept the night away. It couldn't have been me.
I'm so
I was sleeping
I'm so mad.
like a little baby. The jury delivered a guilty verdict.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And
A shock to no one.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, he was given a sentence. So the judge first gave him a stern lecture
And then
on
he's
his-
gonna be hung.
on his violation of Christian duties, and then was sentenced. This is the sentence that he was given. This is word for word what Sir Trot said to him.
Yes.
That you, the said Stede Bonnet, shall go from hence to the place from whence you came, and from thence to the place of execution, where you shall be hanged by the neck till you are dead.
Called it.
And the God of infinite mercy be merciful on your soul. Bonnet was shocked by this verdict, apparently.
Why? Why? He could have done the whole thing. He could have been like, I have a wife and kids. You can't kill me.
Well, you could kill people with a wife and kids.
Yeah, but like, I feel like that's better than I was asleep.
I think being asleep's a good defense.
I don't. It's definitely the whole wife thing is definitely better than my crew didn't respect me. Even if it is true.
That was true. That was and to be fair, during the trial, Ignatius Bell, who gave testimony against Bonnet and said, yeah, Bonnet was the captain, did testify, but his crew didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And really he wasn't the most powerful man on the ship. That was the quartermaster. So it could have worked.
Honestly, he should have said the quartermaster was the captain then.
Well, the quartermaster had already been sentenced hanged, so.
Oh. Well, no one's there to deny the fact then.
While awaiting his execution, Bonnet had one more play. One more Hail Mary.
He's pregnant.
Yeah, I'm pregnant, Your Honor. No, he sent another letter to Governor Johnson. Begging to be pardoned. And he said he promised that if he was pardoned, to assure that he would never again become a pirate. He would have his own arms and legs cut off.
Okay, that's pretty metal.
Did they cut off his arms and legs?
No, they didn't. They fucking. Now,
I mean, that also would be a death sentence in this time.
It would be, yeah. But Charles Johnson wrote that Bonnet's, and this letter is one of the reasons why people do believe Stede Bonnet had some sort of mental illness, which led to him becoming a pirate. Charles Johnson, the governor, wrote, Bonnet's visibly disintegrating mind moved many Carolinians to pity, particularly the female population. Bit of a ladies' man, apparently.
So bye.
The women loved him. And reportedly, the governor delayed his execution 7 times. But he was eventually hanged in Charlestown on December 10th, 1718.
Mm-hmm.
He was a pirate for less than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That all happened in less than 2 years.
All of this happened in less than 2 years, Hannah.
Really shitty.
Really shitty?
Really shitty pirate.
Really shitty pirate. Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Hannah, do you think he was a shitty pirate?
All I could think is the audacity of this man.
Would you be surprised then, Amanda, to learn that Stede Bonnet is in the top 20 of how much money he earned as a pirate?
I'm gonna go jump into the ocean.
In today's monetary value, Stede Bonnet earned $6.4 million as a pirate.
Did he have like specific targets? Like, did he somehow know which ships had like jewels and like expensive stuff?
Well, pirates didn't steal jewels mostly. What pirates would do is rob ships that had supplies and goods. The supplies they would use to feed themselves and repair their ships.
There's the garage door.
And then the goods they would use to sell at ports that they
did they get like the fine China goods or whatever? They
I
got all
guess
the
so.
tobacco.
He was an extremely lucky pirate. He earned $6.4 million. He's number 15 in the top 20. He's in the top 15 of successful pirates.
Hardly. Where does Blackbeard rank on this list?
Where does Blackbeard rank on this list? Do you want me to bring up the list?
Yes.
I will bring it up then. Let me do the research. I do know
Amanda, we have to vamp.
I do know Blackbeard is higher.
I would hope
And
so.
So Blackbeard is 1, 2.
I'm gonna guess he is number 6.
Wrong.
Okay.
He is number 10.
Oh,
Blackbeard earned, let me do a little math here. Because this article that I have is old. So I am accounting for inflation from when it was written to today.
okay. Break out that conversion calculator.
Blackbeard earned $17.6 million. So a good 10 million more than Stede Bonnet. But nowhere near the top two.
Who are they?
The number 2 is Sir Francis Drake.
Okay. That I feel like that checks.
Who earned $162.5 million as a pirate. But most of Sir Francis Drake's piracy was as a privateer for the English crown. The most successful pirate in history is Samuel Black Sam Bellamy.
Oh, Bellamy! One Piece.
Who earned $169.6 million.
That's a good number.
Other famous names, I'm not going to do the calculation here, but other famous names on the list in the top 10, Bartholomew Black Bart Roberts and Harry Morgan.
Don't like.
Okay.
But yes, Stede Bonnet, he's on the list.
He is on the list.
He earned money as a pirate. So
I feel like he didn't rob that many ships, like in comparison.
Well, a lot of times I did say he would go on like a spree of like 11 ships.
True. You did say he robbed 11 ships twice.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a spree.
That's the life of Stede Bonnet. The gentleman pirate. He was called the gentleman pirate, by the way, because he was a gentleman by class. Because he was wealthy. He didn't have to become a pirate. He could have lived his life raising his children.
Which he should have done.
But instead, he became a pirate, earned $6.4 million, and got hanged.
In under 2 years.
If all of his kids are under 5, his kids are like 6 years old at most.
So now they don't have a parent.
When he dies.
Way to go, Stede.
Yeah, way to go, Stede. You're right. That's not to say his kids were not well off.
No, they're very rich children.
Doesn't matter.
You're right. It doesn't matter. There are some that believe the fact that he was orphaned at a young age brought with him a lot of emotional baggage into his marriage, which caused him to leave and become a pirate. He was orphaned at the age of 6.
Just like his children.
Just like his children. It's a vicious cycle. Stede Bonnet contributing to a vicious cycle in life of orphaned children at the age of 6. Are you still angry? You still feeling upset, Amanda?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, did you enjoy learning about Stede Bonnet though?
I guess.
You have a fun time?
I don't think I've ever been this angry.
Oh my god.
I'm very angry. It didn't help that we had a peanut gallery half the time.
I think the peanut gallery contributed some good stuff.
I don't think she did.
I think they did.
I think she did too.
Nobody asked either of you.
Well, we're 2/3 of the show, so you can do this on your own. It's the Nothing to See Here podcast with Amanda
And only Amanda.
and just Amanda. Are there 2 other nicknames for Amanda? I can only think of one. I can think of Mandy.
Fuck you.
Can you think of another nickname for Amanda, Hannah?
I was just gonna say Manda.
It's the Nothing to See Here podcast with Amanda, Mandy, and Manda. And you can like talk in different voices for each one of the characters. I had fun.
I did too.
You think we should take care of business and wrap up the episode?
Yeah.
I guess it's time.
I guess it is time. So let's take care of the business and wrap up then. Follow us on Instagram.
At Nothing to See Here pod, and remember that's here spelled HEAR.
Send us an email with any questions you might have of us, any topic ideas you would like to see, any comments that you have for the show.
You can do that at Nothing to See Here podcast at gmail.com.
Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts and wherever we're uploading, and to download and to review. 5 stars.
5 stars.
If you have anything below a 5 stars, send it to our email. Amanda will read it. Hannah and I, we will not read it. So put in the subject of your email that it's a below 5-star review. I won't touch it.
Amanda's eyes only. Put that in there too.
Urgent. Amanda's eyes only. Under 5-star review. We won't look at it. Only Amanda will look at it. Do you have anything else to promote? I think it's all of our business. Oh, share us. Share us with your friends.
You forgot.
If you like us, share with your friends. If you don't like us, share with your enemies.
Put us on when you leave for work. Put the podcast on for your pets.
Yes, for your pets. This is day 3 of our first week, like I said at the beginning. So tomorrow, we will have a brand new episode.
It's back to me.
It is. It's Hannah's episode.
Hey.
Hannah, do you have a little teaser for us or no?
I do. We're going to be diving into some YouTube horror comedy.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Did you say oh no?
I hate YouTube horror.
It's horror comedy.
But it's never.
Oh, you're going to love this. I'm going to force Frankie and Amanda to react to a video.
Oh,
that
I hope it's
is-
who I'm thinking of. I'm very excited if it is.
This is half YouTube ghost hunting horror, half absurdist comedy.
I'm a big fan.
Who do you think I'm talking about?
There's these 2 guys that do.
You have to be more specific.
Shane and Ryan.
No, it's not shit. I don't know their names. These 2 guys, they have like one video where it's like they get an email from this mom, and she's like, my kid like keeps escaping at night, and they keep growing.
You are correct, Frankie. It is Life of Luxury.
Yes.
Wait, is this the one where the old lady gave birth or something too?
They have different videos.
That is a different video, but you are correct.
My favorite one is the one the kids like keeps growing, and it's like this 7-foot-tall monster, and the guys are like, he shouldn't be haunting people in the woods. He should be playing for the NBA.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so glad you know. You already kind of know this channel. This will be good.
I don't watch their videos like all the time, but if they pop up,
You have to watch them. Oh, they are just a chef's kiss.
I'm so excited for this.
Oh yes, it'll be good. We're going to react to one of their videos.
I think we should begin the tease for our final episode of the week. We've all decided on what we're gonna do.
That's true.
It's a what?
I just want to slowly tease.
You want to slowly tease? Okay, I won't reveal what it is.
Right. No, I just like give some.
Should we give a hint? Just one little hint? A breadcrumb?
Just a hint.
Breadcrumb.
Yeah.
Hannah, you get the breadcrumb. I will say it's the beginning of a big project.
Huge.
It's gonna take a while.
Huge project.
Over the span of the show.
Huge.
Yes.
An enormous project.
Yes. We're going to be talking about something that spans decades.
It's a media enterprise, decades old, as Hannah said.
that I think
Variety.
everyone kind of knows and loves.
Variety of things. TV shows,
Mhm.
movies,
Mm-hmm.
cartoons,
Mhm.
live action,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
hand drawn,
Mhm.
CGI, all kinds of shit going on.
Really good voice acting.
Good voice acting.
Good voice acting, yes.
Shit voice acting.
Iconic.
Childhood.
It's a lot of people's childhood, and a lot of people have an association with a different version of it for their childhood.
Yep. I would say
Mm-hmm.
so. I think that's enough hints.
I think that's enough hints
I
for
think
this
that's
episode.
That's enough for today. Yeah.
We'll drop some more hints on tomorrow's episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Tomorrow's episode, I will be in. Where will I be, Frankie?
Are you gonna record while you're down there?
Of course.
Well, tomorrow's episode, then Amanda's gonna be in Florida.
Where?
Amanda's gonna be in Disney.
I am gonna be in fucking Disney.
She gonna be in the mouse house.
She's gonna be in the House of Mouse,
I am
Mm.
in Disney.
enjoying
So-
a nice vacation.
Yeah. So you better bring it, Hannah. I want to enjoy my recording on my nice vacation.
Well, you're gonna be reacting to a video, so I think it'll be fun.
I think we've had 3 very enjoyable recordings.
I will say, if it's all right with you, right, I am at the very end gonna give my top 5 Disney characters at the very end, just because I feel like
That you've met or just in general?
just in general,
Okay.
I feel like I have to do something Disney.
I feel like that should be an episode.
You think?
And we all talk about our 5 favorite Disney characters. That should be an episode.
Okay. Well,
I think you should talk about your 5 favorite experiences that you've had
I
on
could
the
do that.
vacation.
I could do that.
I want a live on the field report.
I could do that for sure. I'll have pictures too.
Well, we won't see them, but
Well,
You
Yeah.
can text us
I'm
to
going
them.
text
Us
them.
to them,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna text them to you.
I think that's all of the business to take care of for our show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah,
Follow us again on Nothing to See Here Pod on Instagram.
yeah, Hannah does a great job running that.
Mhm.
I certainly wouldn't do a great job.
No, Amanda draws all the art you've seen so far.
It's pretty damn
Brilliant
good.
art. Brilliant
Yeah,
art.
It's pretty good.
She also designed our logo, so round of applause for Amanda because it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, we're technically filming this. It's not completely colored yet. But by the time you guys are listening to this, it'll be done. So, I'm taking my iPad on vacation with me.
Wow. Dedication.
I
haven't even started editing yet.
I mean, I'm so I hate planes. So
That's fair. As always,
Mhm.
give a little plug for Reading Has Ruined My Life.
My blog, come hang out. On my site, Reading Has Ruined My Life. I do book reviews on horror, young adult, mysteries. I do versus death battles with Frankie, Amanda, and our other friend Katie.
A blog that, without those death battles, we wouldn't have existed.
yeah, this wouldn't have happened.
Mm.
I mean, maybe it would have happened, but it definitely wouldn't have been this concrete.
And follow my other show with 2 of my other friends, the Pack Rats. A lot less organized than this, a lot more chaos, no editing at all, ever.
Why don't we?
But enjoy that.
Why do we need editing?
Because we do.
Why?
Because things
Because
happen.
you made us stop 6 times.
We stopped 3 times, and I didn't do shit.
On the other episodes, we've had to edit some stuff out. We've gotten derailed too far sometimes.
Too far.
All right. I guess I am too far.
And my plug. Get a therapist.
Get a therapist. That's Amanda's plug.
Everybody should have one.
Enjoy therapy.
Enjoy therapy.
Um,
If you don't like your therapist, find another one. There's a bunch out there.
Find a therapist.
Just keep trying.
well, with that then, I think we're all done with all of the business, all of our little plugs. Good night. Goodbye. It's Frankie.
It's Hannah.
And I'm
Bye, everyone.
Bye.